And we're back with some more New York Rangers franchise mode in FHM 11. And in this one, we are starting out the playoffs in year number 1 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And yes, indeed, Laurent Brossoit is starting. Shesterkin has not been good this season, as we see by the last game of the season against LA. 765 save percentage, 889. He had that one good game against the Islanders, 400. That's 3 goals on 5 shots against. 867, 844, 886, 875, 947. That's a rarity, seemingly, for him against New Jersey. Then he had an 880, 926, 883. I mean, it seemed like after the trade deadline, he did not do well at all. And obviously, that's not a good omen going into the playoffs. So we're going to see what Brossoit can do. I mean, I hate to bench the $10.3 million goaltender, but I'll tell you one thing. He certainly was not playing like it. He was not playing like a $10 million goaltender, after the trade deadline especially. So here we go. Game 1 against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Sim game, we have a 5-2 Pittsburgh victory. Yikes. Shots at 33-30 in favor of your New York Rangers. 3 stars of the game, Gensel, Rust, and Bjarnfot. First period, you have a goal by Gensel to put them up 1-0. Then you have a goal by Ryan Donato from Fox and Ghost Despair to make it 1-1. And then Matthew Rempe a couple minutes later from Sissons and Edstrom to make it 2-1. But then Brian Rust on the power play for Pittsburgh to make it tied at 2 heading into the second, where Zetterlund scores for Pittsburgh to make it 3-2. And then the third period is Gensel and Gruden on the power play to make it the 5-2 victory for Pittsburgh in game number 1. All right, game number 2. 3-2 loss. Shots at 37-22 in favor of Pittsburgh. 3 stars of the game, Gensel, Ghost, and Zetterlund. First period, you have Zetterlund with the goal for Pittsburgh to put them up 1-0, and that is Sherwood to make it 2-0. Second period, Matthew Rempe with the goal from Ghost to make it 2-1. Then in the third period, it's Zibanejad from Ghost and Panarin to make it 2-2, but then Gensel with the game-winning goal to make it a 3-2 Pittsburgh victory. Wait a minute. Did AV... Hold on. I put Brossoit at the starting position, didn't I? Oh, is it because the AI settings? Yeah, it's the AI, isn't it? Yeah, it's the AI. Ugh. I forgot about that. All right. I mean, what does it consider starter and backup, though? Like, does it go by games played, or is it just based off the lines? Like, if I say starter, is it going to put Brossoit in there? I hope so, because that's what I'm going to do here. Nope, not backup. Starter. I was going to say, I thought we started Brossoit for those games, but apparently not. I guess Shesterkin was in there for both of those games. He did have a good game in game number 2, but game number 1 was brutal. 862 save percentage. So let's see what Laurent Brossoit does in game number 3. And yes, indeed, it is Laurent Brossoit in net, as seen by the starting goalies here. So sim game, 3-2 loss. Shots at 39-28 in favor of your New York Rangers. 3 stars of the game are Crosby, Hedel, and Blomqvist. First period, you have Letang with the goal on the power play, and then Gensel with another one on the power play to make it 2-0 for Pittsburgh. Heading into the second period, where Trocheck gets the goal from Shea and Hedel to make it 2-1. And in the third, you have Malinsky for Pittsburgh to make it 3-1. Panarin scores from Laff and Ghost to make it 3-2, but it was not enough. And we go down 3-0 in the series. So what to do here? I think I'm probably going to have to give AV the control of the lines again. Because I get this feeling that for whatever reason, the game is using my coaching rating, like my miscellaneous ratings, whenever I'm in charge of the lines here. Despite the fact that AV is the coach. I think that could be happening. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's a possibility, because whenever it's me who's in control of the lines, we seem to be losing quite a bit. So yeah, we'll let AV to control the lines here. Unfortunately, that does mean some pretty questionable decisions here, as K'Andre Miller's sitting. You also have Palmieri sitting, and then you have Hedel on the 4th line and still at center. At least I can still change the goalie starts. Let's go with Brossoit once again. See what he can do in game 4. All right, game number 4, an elimination game going into it. Come on, boys. Not off to a good start. Brian Rust with a goal from Crosby and Mikola to get Pittsburgh up 1-0 late in the first. All right, but there's a goal by Hedel from Kreider and Kakko. Make it 1-1. 6 seconds remaining in the first. Zetterlund with the goal to make it 2-1 Pittsburgh. And there's 3-1. Crosby from Bork and Mikola. Not looking great. All right, there's a goal by Kakko from Hedel and Kreider. We're still in this. There you go. Riley Nash with the goal from Fox and Ghosts. So we're tied at 3 and now heading into the third period. Come on, boys. All right, there you go. Zibanejad with the goal from Ghost and Fox. But Poulin follows it up soon after to make it 4-4. Come on, boys. And we're headed to OT. And we're headed to a second overtime. Who's going to win it? It'll be Pittsburgh. Yamamoto with the goal. And that'll just about do it. Yeah, pretty rough. Pretty rough all around. 55 shots to 47 over the course of roughly 5 periods. 3 stars of the game. Mikola, Kreider, and Yamamoto, of course, with the game-winning goal. Yeah, that's rough. I certainly was not expecting any of that to unfold. I was not expecting Shesterkin to be the way he was this season. I was not expecting to be swept in the first round. I was not expecting a lot of things this season. And you know what? This is going to be a big offseason for your New York Rangers. Very big offseason. We're going to have to move. We're going to have to move Panarin. We just have to. Speaking of Panarin, he only had 2 points in those 4 games. I mean, yeah, there are definitely going to be some changes. I mean, we're going to have to regardless, right? But I think even if we didn't have to make changes to fit under the cap, there would have been some moves made this season regardless. Like, that's a really disappointing finish for this team. That is a really disappointing finish for this team. I expect a lot better. That's unfortunate. Let's take a look in goal for the playoffs. 904 save percentage for Brossoit, 894 for Shesterkin. Oh my God. I'm starting to regret that Shesterkin contract already. I gotta be honest. I'm hoping that he can prove me wrong next season. That's the only reason I gave him that contract extension, is because I'm hoping that he can, get back to where he was 2 seasons ago. But yeah, this year was rough for him. This year was so rough all around. And I think it's safe to say that with 2 first-round exits in a row, one with us and then the previous year with the Presidents, AV is going to be on his way out here. And let's see, is there anyone else who we're going to want to re-sign here? I mean, Donato, there's no way we're going to be able to afford him. Palmieri, there's no way we're going to be able to afford. Yeah, he wants $6 million for 1 year. No thanks. Edstrom, he wants $3 million. He's not really that good though. I don't want to give him $3 million, to be honest. I would rather just qualify him and trade him. Miller, he wants 5.3 according to that. 6.9. He's almost $7 million. Oh man. Yeah, this team is gonna go through a lot of change this offseason. I get the feeling. Korzak will auto qualify. Petrie's gone. Nash is gone. All these guys are probably gone as well. Othman, I think I'll at the very least auto qualify. Dumoulin, I mean, depending on what he wants, 5.3. Nope, you can get released. Jeez. Yep, this is going to be one interesting offseason for your New York Rangers, that is for sure. And your Stanley Cup champions are the Boston Bruins. They went through Toronto, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, and Nashville. To be honest, I don't even know if I want to sign Miller. The $7 million for Miller. Personality, Miller isn't in it for the money. Oh, yeah, okay. $7 million for 2.5-star ability. That's a bit much. Yeah, on his demand, it says 5.3, so that's interesting. If I can get him to that, then I'd definitely do that, but I'm not doing nearly 7 mil. 6.2 is the final offer. I mean, his grade's not bad. He had a 66 grade last year, 24 points. It's just that we have to be really careful with how we're spending now. 102 hits, 120 shots blocked. I'll at the very least auto-qualify him. But do I want to give him that kind of deal? Because they already have that extension to laugh, right? 6.7 for the next 4 years. And then, of course, not to mention Shesterkin. Yeah, I'm not going to offer this to Miller right now. I'm going to wait until July 1st and see what the situation is. Luckily, we still have his rights, so we don't need to offer him right away. Yeah, honestly, I think everyone on this list is not going to be re-signed before July 1st. And if they are re-signed, then it's, it's going to be with the qualifying offer. But all the veterans, Petrie, Nash, Palmieri, Belzile, Dumoulin, Ghost, Veazey, Harper, Donato, they're all gone. They're all gone for sure. It's just a matter of retaining the rights of Miller, Edstrom, Korzak, Boyko, and Othman, and then figuring out what to do with them on July 1st. I'm just going to make sure they're all auto-qualified here. Yes, indeed. Wait, what? I didn't offer... Huh? I didn't submit offer. I offered it just to see what he would want, but I did not submit. I know for a fact I did not submit offer on K-Andre Miller's deal. I know for a fact I didn't submit that. Did the assistant GM do that? I mean, it's set for me. I'm the one who renews contracts and does all the transactions. I swear I did not submit that offer. I offered it to him just to see where we would end up salary wise for Miller, but I did not. I know for a fact I did not directly submit it to him. I wonder if that's a bug. Because I know for a fact I did not do that. I did not submit that offer. That's really weird. I mean, at least it signed him for the amount that I offered at 6.2 for 3 years, right? But still, I did not submit that. So I wonder if that's a bug or a glitch or something that the assistant GM did, because I know I definitely did not do that. I've never seen that before until now. Anyway, for the awards ceremony, for the Ted Lindsay and the Art Ross, you have Connor McDavid. Let's see where he finished this year. He had 143 points. Jeez Louise, that is a lot. Maurice Richard, Jeff Skinner, he had 59 goals this season, almost 60. For the Lady Bing, you have Gabe Velarde. For the Bill Masterton, you have Ovi, who is still going at 39 years of age, 76 points. Let's see where he's at goal-wise. He had 896. I believe that is the record, is that not? I believe that is the record. As yes, indeed, that is 2 above Wayne Gretzky's record. So Ovi has finished the 2024-25 season with the all-time goal record. Way to go, Ovi. For the Mark Messier Leadership Award, you have Meko Backlund of Calgary. And for the Jennings Trophy, you have Aiden Hill of Vegas. For the Hart between Jack Hughes, Connor McDavid, and Leon Draisaitl, it is Connor McDavid, of course, with the 143-point performance. For the Conn Smythe, it is David Pastrnak of Boston with 26 points in 23 games played. For the Calder between Carter Mazer, Zane Perrick, and Maki Samoskevich, it is Zane Perrick of Philly with 40 points in 80 games played. For the Norris between Darlene, Josi, and Fox, come on Fox, and it's Darlene with 84 points in 82 games played. For the Selkie between Logan O'Connor, Brad Marchand, and David Kampf, it is Logan O'Connor of Toronto with 40 points in 82 games played. For the Vezina between Jordan Binnington, Thatcher Demko, and Connor Hellebuck, it is Connor Hellebuck of Winnipeg with that .917 save percentage and 8 shutouts in 75 games played. Jeez, that is a lot of games played. Hopefully, Mr. Shesterkin can get back up to this level next season. For the GM of the Year between Kevin Cheveldayoff, Rob Blake, and Kelly McCrimmon, it is Kevin Cheveldayoff of Winnipeg. For the Jack Adams between Bruce Cassidy, Mike Keane, and Jim Hiller, it is Mike Keane of Winnipeg. All right, we're on June 23rd, which means it's time to sign some prospects. The one we are definitely signing is got to be Nikita Artamonov. He's shown a lot of progress over the past year. He's developed his acceleration, his balance, his speed, his stamina, his fighting even, and that's just physical ratings. Let's take a look at mental. He's improved his team player, professionalism, bravery, leadership. Offensively, he improved his screening from a 10 to 12. Passing stayed the same. Offensive read went from a 14 to a 15 to a 16. Shooting range stayed at 6. Shooting accuracy went from 15 to 16. Puck handling went from 17 to 18. And then getting open went from 15 to 16. And then defensively, checking went from 14 to 15. Positioning went from 13 to 15. Stick checking went from 13 to 14. Faceoffs went from 10 to 11. Defensive read went from 13 to 14. Shot blocking stayed at 7. And then hitting went from 12 to 13. So I think he's shown more than enough progress over the course of this year to validate signing him. And you know what? He's already a 2.5-star ability, so he is definitely NHL ready at this point. That is a beautiful offensive category. Defensive category is definitely getting there. Physical ratings, I wish his strength would be a little bit higher, but besides that, he is basically there. So Artamonov, I'm going to give you a contract for sure. And let's see if we're signing anybody else. Who's signing deadlines coming up? Vaisinen, Pajuniemi, Rubruk, and that's it in terms of signing deadlines. And we are definitely not signing any of those guys. So I think Artamonov will be the only prospect we sign for now, but obviously we'll see what happens at the draft. And here's our 2024-25 season summary. We reached the playoffs, had a winning season, and had a winning percentage of .600 or better, but no other positive categories, no negative categories, and a financial health bonus of 4, meaning our total season score and total career score so far is at 23. 4 available points, putting all of them into negotiating, of course. Yeah, we're at nearly 86 million in cap right now, and we only have 16 players on the roster. Yeah, Panarin's getting moved. Panarin has to be moved at the draft. I don't think there's any avoiding it at this point. I mean, unless we trade Shesterkin, but again, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because that was just one bad season, right? But I'll tell you one thing, if he follows up last season with another performance anywhere close to this, then I'm going to really be regretting that contract. That's all I'm saying. But Panarin, no doubt, has to be traded at the draft. Must be traded at the draft. So that being said, let's see what we need. We have goaltenders set, technically. As far as numbers go, on defense, we need minimum 3 defensemen. You have Fox, Miller, Shea, and then Robertson as possible backup option. And then at forward, you have 3, 6, 10. Yeah, so we're going to need, I'm going to say a second line center because I don't want Hedel on that second line center anymore. Yeah, we're gonna need a second line center, a third line winger, a fourth line winger, a right-handed top 4 defenseman, and 2 top 6 defensemen, because these are the lines as I would currently make them. So yeah, that's what we're gonna need going to free agency, and that's quite a lot. So let's take a look at free agency and see who's out there. You have Rantanen and Draisaitl out there. 2 5-star abilities available in free agency. Not that we're gonna be able to afford them anyway, but still they're out there. Maybe Sam Bennett as the second line center. He had 70 points last season, 75 grade. Won't be well liked though. Don't like that. Excluding Draisaitl and Bennett, there's not really many good centers in free agency this year. Not from what I'm seeing anyway. Fax is not very good offensively, and I definitely want someone who's good offensively for that second line. So it doesn't seem like we're gonna get a second line center out of free agency here. There's absolutely no way we're signing Draisaitl. we can forget that right now. So we might need to find a second line center through a trade. We might just have to, or we could just put Trocheck on the second line center, because he's not that bad in terms of point scoring. He's a 50-point scorer easily. But there's also a chance he's one of those guys who we may have to trade, considering his contract and his age. So I'm not entirely sure on Trocheck yet. I think it depends on how much cap we're able to clear up by trading Panarin. This would be so much easier if Hedl just had a better face-off rating, but I do not want him at center. I mean, Donato was a fantastic third-line left winger, so I wouldn't mind bringing him back, but the only problem is his asking price. Currently has $6 million for 3 years. We can't afford that, you know? I'm not a fan of Ratcliffe's defensive category, but just considering the fact that he only wants 1.1 million, at least according to this, we go into it. Yeah, 1.1 for 2 years. That's a good contract, good cheap contract for a player with a decent offensive category. And he's got that getting open at 18, screening at 17. Definitely a grinder type player, it looks like. Someone who could get on front of the net. I will offer Isaac Ratcliffe a contract. I will give him 1.35 for 2 years. And actually, I'm going to move Rempe to the right because I believe that's his natural position. Yeah, they'll need a fourth line left wing as well, because I don't want that to be Ratcliffe either. He's got that defensive category isn't really that good. Let's see, what about defensemen? Definitely not many defensemen in this free agency. There's Chikrin, there is Ghost, both of which are asking for too much money. Then there's Orlov, who's asking for 6 mil. Then everybody after that is 2-star below, and yeah. Not a pretty sight here. I mean, let's take a look at the trade block, see who's out there. I doubt there's going to be many interesting players on the block, though, at this point on July 1st. Brennan Tanev, maybe a solid fourth liner. There is Darren Radish on defense for Tampa, and he's on a minimum contract as well, so might have to consider that. In fact, I think I'm going to heavily consider Darren Radish. Ooh, Raphael Harvey Pinard, making about $1 million in his contract. Pretty well-rounded player. Yeah, I think, honestly, he might be the new front runner for cheap fourth liner. So in fact, I think I'll make that trade right now. They're looking for goaltenders and defense. Well, guess what? So am I. How about I give you the rights to Boyko? I can't see him turn out to be much. They will accept that offer. Let's see if we can get a draft pick on there. Yep, we can get a 5th and no 6th. So we'll go with the rights to Talon Boyko in exchange for Harvey Pinard at 25% of his salary retained and a 5th off a trade. We'll see what they say. So he would fill in there on the fourth line left wing. We're still looking for a second line center and 3 defensemen at minimum. Right, I was looking at Radish on Tampa because he's got that low cap hit for a 2.5-star ability. Yeah, we'll see if we can get Radish from Tampa. And of course, we also still have to consider what we're doing with guys like Korzak, Edstrom, and Othman. But I know I do want to make this trade with Tampa because we do need defensemen. So Radish, get on there. I'm gonna say the rights to Trevino and a 4th for Darren Radish off a trade. Ooh, Eric Brandstrom is on the block. I mean, he's not great, but he'll have to do because he honestly looks better than most of the defensemen available in free agency, and he's pretty cheap. So if we can get him, I will certainly take him. And let's just trade the rights for Dylan Garand to Montreal in exchange for Eric Brandstrom. Offer trade. I mean, let's take one more look at free agency for defensemen here. It's just that all these guys, they just want so much money. Kovacevic is probably the most realistic option here, considering that he's not asking for too much money and his attributes are at least sort of well-rounded. He's asking for 1.8 for 3 years. I will give you 2 mil for 2 years if you'll do that. Edstrom is asking for 4 mil now. No thanks. What about Korzak? Yeah, I think we're gonna have to sign Korzak. He's asking for a minimum deal. And he's not that bad anyway. It's just his defensive category that makes me a bit wary of him, but definitely like his offensive category. He could be useful depth to call up when we have injuries to our offensive guys. And what does Othman want? Yeah, I'll sign Othman. We're also going to need a defensive coach and, of course, a head coach as we released AV. I mean, Peter Laviolette's available, and he's the Rangers coach in real life right now anyway. So standard offensive preference, balanced physical preference, aggressive line matching tendency, prefers veterans. I mean, we have plenty of veterans on this team. Conservative innovation, though, I don't like that. I like the innovative coaches because that's their ability to adjust to new tactics quickly. So Laviolette's certainly an option, but I'm going to keep looking. Then you have Craig Berube, defensive preference, physical preference, balanced everywhere else. I mean, that might be what we need, honestly, considering the situation with Shesterkin. So I think at the moment, Berube is the front runner. There's Spencer Carberry. He has the standard balanced preferences. Very good coaching ratings. Coaching prospects at 18. Not that we really have too many prospects right now besides maybe Artamanov. But overall, very good coach. I just don't know if he fits our current team, you know? And I also like coaches with the physical preference, right? So for me, Berube is still the front runner, but I would say Carberry is definitely a close second. Yeah, I just added to the filter a little bit, made all of these ratings 13. And I think out of all these guys, Craig Berube's got to be the guy. So I think with all that done, we're going to advance in the simulation here and see what happens with the trades and with the free agent signings. All right, Montreal and Tampa have accepted our trade offers. So the rights to Garand to Montreal in exchange for Eric Brandstrom at 45% of his salary retained, complete trade. And then a 4th round pick and the rights to Bobby Trevino to Tampa in exchange for Darren Radish, complete trade. Oh, right. We made we made 2 trades with Montreal. I completely forgot. So the rights to Talon Boyko to Montreal in exchange for Raphael Harvey Pinard with 25% of his salary retained and a 5th round pick, complete trade. And now it's time for the draft lottery. Let's see who gets the first overall pick. At number 16, you have Washington, followed up by Columbus, Colorado, Detroit, Minnesota, Philly, Chicago, Anaheim, the Islanders, Minnesota. So Montreal moves up. Then you have Seattle, San Jose, Montreal at number 4, Carolina, and then at number 1 is Montreal. So Montreal gets the 1st and 4th overall picks. Wow. And Dallas, of course, at number 2. All right, let's take a look at the draft. And considering the fact that our first pick in this draft is in the 5th round, let's see if we can trade Panarin right now. Because, you know we're not going to be able to hold on to him anyway. So we may as well see if we can get a high draft pick back for him. Like, I can't imagine we're getting anywhere in the top 5. So let's start out with Seattle, then move down to Minnesota, and then the Islanders. Oh, right, I forgot. Panarin's no trade clause. I completely forgot. So he can only go to Vegas, New Jersey, Ottawa, Toronto, LA, Chicago, Tampa, or Buffalo. Okay, I guess we'll go down the list here. Let's start with Vegas. Actually, you know what? We could just take a look at it from here. Let's see if any of these teams have a weakness at wing. Tampa does, Chicago does, and that's it. Those are the only 2 teams that have weakness at wing. So Tampa and Chicago. I believe, yeah, Chicago has the 10th pick. So let's see if we can get Chicago's pick there. Sending Panarin back to Chicago might be the case here. We're going to want Chicago's pick, right? Or is it Toronto's? No, there's no way it's Toronto's, right? I think this pick right here, 26, is probably Toronto's pick originally. Because let's just see, how did they do the regular season? 47, 27, and 8, and then compare that to Chicago, who were 38, 36, and 8. Yeah, I think it's safe to say 26 is indeed Toronto. So we will trade for their 1st round pick for this year in exchange for Panarin, and obviously they're not going to take that. So what else do we have to add here? We can definitely add Edstrom. I'm not re-signing him. It's a well-balanced offer now. Okay, if we give him a 3rd for next year's draft, they'll accept it. So Panarin, the rights to Edstrom, and a 3rd for a 1st for this year. That's the 10th overall pick. To be honest, I'm not a fan of including that 3rd, but that's a top 10 pick, right? And there's going to be a lot of players available at that point. There's going to be a lot of good players available. Yeah, I mean, we're going to miss Panarin's presence for sure, but I think it has to be done. It's got to be done. Panarin, the rights to Edstrom, and a 3rd round pick for 2026 for the 10th overall pick in this year's draft. Offer trade, finalize. There it is. Artemi Panarin has been moved back to Chicago. So he had a good run here in New York, but obviously we ran into a lot of cap problems, and we now have the 10th overall pick. So with that done, let's pick into human and see who is available for us. So you have Michael Misa going to the Montreal Canadiens 1st overall. And then you have Emil Guit going to the Dallas Stars at 2nd. Then you have Jackson Smith to the Carolina Hurricanes, Matt Schaefer to the Montreal Canadiens, Joby Baumüller to the San Jose Sharks, Jeremy Martin to the Seattle Kraken, James Higgins to the Minnesota Wild, Roger McQueen to the New York Islanders, and then Alec Nasreddine to the Anaheim Ducks. So there's Gabriel Dyke, which, as we know, we do need a prospect goaltender, but at the same time, we've seen how unpredictable goaltenders can be in this game, right? So I'm almost tempted to not take him because of that and just get someone out of free agency or get someone out of a trade, someone proven, assuming that Shesterkin doesn't do well again this season. There's Ivan Ryabkin. He doesn't look too bad. Anton Frundell, he looks interesting. Adam Benek. Benek looks interesting. He's already a 1.5 star ability, getting open at 17 already, and that 3.5 star potential. Personality is not great. I don't like that. 30 points last year in 52 games played. He's definitely an interesting player considering his progress already. I mean, he's already a pretty talented player, but I don't really like his personality that much. I mean, it's not the worst kind of personality, but it's not, ideal. Ooh, Malcolm Spence. He looks interesting. He's got that 1.5 star ability, 3.5 star potential. 6'3" as a left winger, 228 pounds. He's a big kid. 16 getting open, 16 puck handling, 14 positioning, 16 strength, 15 team player. Yeah, he's very well rounded. What about his personality? Personality is not bad. I mean, it's not great, but 80 points last season in the OHL in 67 games played, 67 grade. Hold on, let's compare the two. So Ryabkin and Spence on the draft list now. Let's take a look at each of their ratings. So mentally, roughly the same, but Ryabkin's slightly better. Physically, it's close. It's pretty close. Spence has the strength advantage. Ryabkin has the slight advantage in agility. Spence has a slight advantage in balance. Offensively, pretty even to be honest, offensively. Ryabkin is the better passer. Spence is the better screener. Not much difference between these two, to be honest. Let's see defensively. Yeah, I would give the slight edge to Spence as far as defense. He's got the 14 checking, 14 positioning, and 15 defensive read. That being said, Ryabkin's good at faceoffs, and our center core is getting pretty up there in age. Considering Zibanejad 32, Trocheck 31, and we might have to trade Trocheck at some point soon, right? And maybe even Zibanejad as well. However, on wing, you have Artamanov, Lafreniere, Kako, Hedel, Kreider. I mean, Kreider's, he's getting up there in age, right? But still, we have some younger options at wing. We do not have any young centers at this point, besides Korzak, who's not really going to be an NHL regular. Yeah. I mean, there's also Samuel Fiala, but he might be a little ways away. And as it stands right now, Ryabkin is closer to being NHL ready than Fiala is. So yeah, I think Ryabkin's got to be the pick. Projected to be picked at 13. Not that that holds much weight in this game, but still something to consider. Yeah, I mean, it's close. It's really close. I like both of these guys for sure. But I think just given our circumstances, I think Ryabkin makes a bit more sense right now. Especially since we have Laf, Kako, Artamanov, and Hedel on wing. Yeah, I'm taking Ryabkin. Welcome to the New York Rangers, Ivan Ryabkin. And we're now at 76.9 million in cap space, so that should be enough to get everybody else signed. And that should also give us some breathing room going into next season for the trade deadline if we want to make any trades, right? So I think we're done with trades for right now. Let's advance to the 5th round, I guess, because no other trades I want to make here. And I mean, yeah, we're in the 5th round and there's still 3-star potentials available. Jeez, not used to seeing this too often. Let's see, Andrew O'Neill, another center, 15 for faceoffs, 17 positioning. I'm liking that. The 1.5 star ability already, 3-star potential, 75 grades, 70 points in 64 games played in the USHL. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. What about his personality? Yeah, he's got a good personality as well. Definitely my first choice at the moment. I'm going to keep looking though, because this is a very deep draft, so I don't make sure I don't pass over anybody. Sasha Boumediene looks interesting. 1.5 star defenseman, 3-star potential. Personality is okay. 58 points in 64 games played last year in the USHL, 72 grade. Yeah, I would say Boumediene is another possibility. Benjamin Cavan, good shooting accuracy, good passing, good defensive read, good stamina, strength at 14 already, good personality. I like his personality. 63 points in 63 games played last year in the USHL, 74 grade. Yeah, he's not bad. I think I'll keep an eye on him as well. Luka Radivojevich, definitely an offensive defenseman. I don't really like his checking or hitting rating as a defenseman though. Connor Sturgeon, 6'4", 234 pounds. I like his ratings all around. Puck handling at 17, 46 points in the MAHL last year, 75 grade. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him as well. It's a very deep draft. I'm just making sure I do due diligence here. Jack Lackas, he is a 1.5 star ability already, 3-star potential, 13 faceoffs, 16 getting open, pretty well rounded all around. 66 points in 64 games played last year, 67 grade. Yep, we'll keep an eye on him. And that's it for the 3-star potentials. So I think we'll go ahead and make our pick here, as despite the fact that we're already in the 5th round, we actually do have 5 more picks left still, 4 of them being in the 5th round. So hopefully we can get all of our guys here. O'Neill, Boumediene, Kavan, Sturgeon, and Lacus. But out of these guys, who do I want the most? I think Andrew O'Neill's really speaking to me with that 17 positioning and 15 for faceoffs already. And I think he has the potential to be something pretty good. So Andrew O'Neill, welcome to the New York Rangers. Simulated to the next pick. Are our guys still there? Yep, we still have Boumediene, Kavan, Sturgeon, and Lacus available. So between these 4, I mean, we don't really have many defensive prospects either. At least none that stand out. Yeah, I think Boumediene's the next pick. So Sasha Boumediene, welcome to the New York Rangers. And let's hope that these 3 are still available at the next pick. Yes, indeed. So between them, wait, what? Excuse me? How? How does he already have the cup with the Kings despite going through the entry draft? That's definitely a glitch. That's gotta be a glitch. Yeah, it's showing 2 Stanley Cup champions for the same team for this guy despite having no NHL experience whatsoever. Yeah, that's definitely odd. But I can say for certain he is definitely not a Stanley Cup champion. We're gonna go with apparent Stanley Cup champion Benjamin Kavan. Welcome to the New York Rangers. And we actually have a back-to-back pick here, so we may as well just take either Lacus or Sturgeon. Lacus was apparently supposed to go at 101, while Sturgeon is supposed to go at 194. So I think I'll take Lacus next, and then we'll go Sturgeon. Hope he's still there with the 6th round pick. Ah, he went. Unfortunate. But still a very deep draft, so we have a plethora of players to choose from here with our 6th round pick. A lot of them are centers, it seems. You have a whole page of centers here. Yeah, I think we'll take a goaltender with this last pick. We'll take Lucas Beckman, that half-star ability, 2.5-star potential, as we have no more prospect goaltenders in our system, so we gotta get somebody in there. So Beckman, welcome to the New York Rangers, and that should just about do it. And now we'll just wait for the decisions of all the free agents we approached. And it looks like they all did indeed sign. Yep, and we are at 22 players on our roster, so I guess we could get one more player. And that's probably going to be a defenseman. I would prefer not to run with Robertson as our 7th. Let's get Nick Perbix. See if we can get him for 1 year. Seems like he really wants that 3. Coming down to 2. Let's see if we offer him 2 mil. Yep, all right, 2 mil for 1 year sounds good to me. So I'll send Robertson down, and then we'll sign one more forward. You know what? What if I put Korzak on the 2nd line center? He's got that 13 faceoffs. That way Trocheck could be a 3rd line, and then Sisson's 4th line. Might end up doing that. I mean, again, there is Bennett, but I don't like that he won't be well liked. Don't like to have those kinds of personalities around. I think I'll sign Nico Sturm. Good personality, good defensively. Physical ratings are up there. Strength is at 16, and he's not asking for too much money on his contract either. So I'll see if we can take him to 2 mil for 1 year. No, he's gonna want that 2 years, so I'll take him up a little bit more, 2.1. All right, that'll do it. So Nico Sturm has signed, and Nick Perbix has also signed. So there you go. These are, I believe, going to be your year number 2 New York Rangers, as we have Shesterkin and Brossoit in net. On defense, you have Fox, Shea, Miller, Radish, Brandstrom, Kovacevic, and Perbix. At forward, you have Artemi Panarin-less New York Rangers with Kreider, Zibanejad, Hedel, Lafreniere, Kako, Trocheck, Harvey Pinard, Ratcliffe, Sissons, Korzak, Rempe, Artamanov, Othman, and Sturm. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get past not having Artemi Panarin now on the roster, and hopefully the changing coaches with Craig Berube will help out in our chances of going on a deep playoff run. But the biggest question mark, of course, is going to be Igor Shesterkin. It's all gonna depend on how he performs. If he has anything like what he had last season, then we're going to be in for a doozy of a season. And I would really prefer if he went back to the way he was for the Presidents there with that .918 save percentage. Because I will be honest, after these past playoffs and obviously the past regular season, I am already kind of starting to regret that $10.3 million contract for 7 years. So we'll see how that contract ages. We'll see what happens as we head into year number 2. So before we end things off here, we'll just get to the Hall of Fame inductions, and then we'll call it an episode. Already been quite a lot happening in this one. And into the Hockey Hall of Fame are Joe Thornton, Zdeno Chara, Alexander Mogilny, and John Van Beesbrook. So here's our roster for the Prospects Tournament. I'm mostly interested in seeing how Artamanov, Ryabkin, and Fiala do. So let's briefly go over the Prospects Tournament. We won 6-0 over Toronto. Goals by Sikora, Larson, Fiala, Larson, Sikora, and Yeko. 5-4 loss against New Jersey. Goals by O'Neill. Oh goodness, that's a lot of penalties there in the first period. I had to scroll down on the list to see all of them. Then you have Boumediene and O'Neill scoring. and then Artamanov in the third. And you have a 4-0 win over Florida with goals by Krenzen, Soto, Lacus, and Sharp. A 1-0 loss against Chicago, and then a 4-2 win over LA with goals by Ryabkin, Sikora, Soto, and Sikora all in the third period. All right, we need a new alternate. I think that will be Kreider. Ooh, look at that. Ryabkin already up to a 2-star ability due to the training camp development. Physical ratings going up there. Team player going up there. Offensive ratings getting open. Screening going up. And shot blocking also going up. So that's good for him. Hopefully he can keep that up. Nikita Artamanov growing a little bit as well. Speed, screening, and faceoffs. We have finished the preseason, and honestly, what I'm most interested in here is just Sturkin's save percentage. He managed a 922 for the preseason, so that's good, but he was also really good in the preseason last year. So we'll have to see if that can hopefully translate over to the regular season. But besides that, this has been a really long video. I think I'm over 2 hours on the recording now, so I'm going to end it off here, and I'll see you guys in the next one when we start year number 2 with your New York Rangers.